Welcome to the RSP Film Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. We're going to take an in-depth look at DeAndre Swift, the running back out of the University of Georgia. We're going to watch him here take the long corner against a defensive back and a linebacker and get the first down here. And it's a short yard gain. I mean, it's 2 yards, but he probably travels, 30, 40 yards to basically get that gain. And one of the nice things about this run, though, is you get a chance to see that acceleration because he has to, work inside out. He beats the angle of the defensive back, a little stiff arm to the head, another little stiff arm to the weak side linebacker. Now, one of the things here when you're taking a look at acceleration, you can certainly say, well, the safety, he comes up right here. He notices Swift begin to turn outside and takes an extra hop before he gets downhill. So he gives up the angle here. And there's some truth to that. Maybe a more savvy defender doesn't have to take a false step and is able to cut this off the short corner in addition to being able to get a better angle on the running back to the long corner. But at the same time, you have to understand that DeAndre Swift's burst here is still pretty darn good because there are a lot of running backs who would not have been able to outrun this defensive back's angle. So good burst there. And then with 32 coming downhill here, he's also able to turn that corner, use a bit of a stiff arm slow down just to make that contact so he's not tackled from behind, and turn that into a first down. So, are we looking at a back who has great long speed? Well, I can tell you from watching a number of his games that no, he doesn't have great long speed, but it's good enough to be able to do damage and earn a breakaway run on occasion. But he has excellent short area burst, and it has enough acceleration into the intermediate and long range of a run to be able to get angles that he needs. Another thing that's nice to appreciate from a good running back is balance, contact balance. And you're going to watch him here as number 30 sheds this lineman and works inside to hit DeAndre Swift directly right here. But Swift gets a little bit lower, plants that pad into the chest, and knocks Mack Wilson backwards. And then continues to be able to drive his legs and turn this into another 3 or 4 yards after that contact. It's really through that contact. He does a really good job of being able to establish the first contact right there, meeting that low shoulder into, Mack Wilson dipping into that. And Wilson can't stand up this little spark plug, DeAndre Swift, in terms of his low center of gravity and strength. So, you're going to see DeAndre Swift lose confrontations, but it's going to be from really great form. And in this particular situation, he wins this one. And you can just see, the good pad level, contact balance, the leg drive. That's what you're looking for from a back who can operate between the tackles. And we're going to see a lot more of this against the University of Alabama in a minute. One of the great things about Swift's game is his movement, his footwork, and ability to make cuts to make people miss, to take away angles from defenders. And that cut, once he gets outside, chopping his feet to get through this little crease between two blockers, does that. Now watch him here. He's got his shoulders pointed about a 45-degree angle towards the cone. See this defender coming downhill, got him square. Plant downhill, right past number 4. And is able to use a stiff arm to take on the safety and pull that defender basically to the end zone. Actually, it's not the safety, it's a linebacker. Same linebacker who ran into him head on. Now he's able to plant the stiff arm and drag the man. But look at this wonderful cut right there. The quickness in and out of that cut. Very sudden. Very impressive. And you're going to see more impressive footwork out of this guy. This is probably one of the least impressive of the cuts that I've seen him make. But the acceleration, the suddenness out of that cut. That's notable, and it's something that you should note from any type of running back that you watch. And you like a back with a low center of gravity who can keep his feet through contact. Here he is coming up on that safety. He's able to lower the shoulder into that hit that's about to go across his hip, spin off of it, stay downhill and low with his arms over the ball. He gets wrapped up by 2-3 Alabama defenders, stays upright, and is able to keep moving his feet while Georgia comes to his aid to give him a push for a long gain after the contact. Here we're looking at another, 7 yards? 7 or 8 yards after that contact where he's tied up. And you can give a ton of credit to the Georgia line here, but at the same time, when a back gets into these scrum situations, it's about being able to keep your feet and keep forward progress moving and not have it stopped long enough for an official to blow the whistle. And that's exactly what happens here. This is a strong running back with excellent suddenness when it comes to short area movement. And that's a recipe along with that burst for a guy in the NFL who can gain a nice amount of yardage for you. Nice little footwork in and out of that hole as well. Short little jump cut right there to get outside number 32. And then the stiff arm that he was about to use but realizes he doesn't need to, and then just gets skinny into the crease. Nice low pad level, bounces off, and then teammates come to his aid. And Swift can catch. You're going to watch him here. This is a very consistent part of his game, is being able to catch the ball with a good attack with his hands. Hands extended, shoulders turned back towards the ball, even with his hips still working downfield towards the end zone. The fact that he can pivot like this, or at least, turn his upper half, address the ball as well as he does, and pull it in, it's fine work. And you get to see him do this from a variety of angles as a running back who's receiving the ball out of the backfield. Makes a fine check down option who can do a little bit more for you than just be a check down guy. He can be a first option on these types of plays where the defense is baited into working on the receivers here, and then he slips out behind them. There's a clear out, one-on-one right there. Yeah, you're going to see more of this from DeAndre. And here's that catching ability and sudden movement put together on a play as he works to the outside into the flat, catches the ball with his hands, gets his hands around it, turns upfield, and there's 2-on-1. Watch him be able to make that move inside out, spin around, and get positive yardage out of it. I mean, he makes basically 2 men miss with that move. That's a little bit of a Barry Sanders-esque type of move, in the sense of you don't see backs too often have the quickness to be able to stop as they head towards the right, pivot towards the left, plant and spin, and weave around back again towards the right. Like the mini little Marcus Allen type of spin around. That's the way Swift did that over here. You can see just the pivoting, the quick feet, the sudden movement, short area quickness. Turns, practically a no-gainer here into a near first down on 3rd and 8. So, now you make it a 4th and 2. Not bad, backed up in your own red area. And let's also talk about that explosion when it comes to strength. Because short area movements, short area impact on defenders. Watch what he does to this defensive tackle, 99. Or excuse me, it's 46. I think it's 46 off to the left here that I've got the pointer on. He's going to come free, lower his pads, and use his forearm to knock 48 down. Now you get some help. There's some help here from the guard. Guard gives a little bit of push too, and the defender's off balance. But you can also see where it's a combination of both Swift being able to use that forearm and the push from the defender number 66, or from the offensive lineman number 66. But still, that forearm's pretty powerful. Not much in terms of being able to get any yards after that. But I like what I'm seeing in terms of when he takes on defenders, he usually wins collisions or at least has a stalemate. And the fact that he can shake off a bigger man like this, even though he's getting pushed right here, that push actually comes after the contact, if you notice. Contact here first, and then the push kind of help cleans it up. Where I think Swift can get a lot better is at blocking. He's not bad in certain areas. In fact, he's very good as a cut blocker at certain points. But head on, he's going to have the linebacker slip through the inside of what we see here of this guard, and watch him lower his head right there. See his head lowered into that contact? He's got his head dropped. Now the ball's getting rid of, Fromm's getting rid of the ball here. But still, you don't want to drop your head into contact like that. You're going to usually lose the interaction unless it's just timed at the end like this. So you're going to want to see Swift get better at being able to not only just square like he's doing here, but to shoot his arms with better timing instead of just lower his head into the oncoming defender. Diagnosing double blitzes, that's going to have to be a little bit better too. Tries to work to that inside. Once he realizes 63's picked up, or 53's picked up that man at least a little bit, he tries to head to the second blitzer and just misses that opportunity. I mean, basically falls to the ground, trying to lean across there to at least get a cut. And that fall to the ground's not so much that he gave up on the play, it's just that he went from thinking he's going to take on an inside defender blitzing, and then late has to realize it's the outside man and just is slow to react to that because, he didn't really have that plan laid out as well as you'd like to see in a difficult situation like this. And sometimes your feet kind of get like mush when you're overthinking or you have to think too late. But catching the ball, not a problem for DeAndre Swift. That was one of the strengths of his game coming out of high school, and you can see it here. Look how he attacks this ball. He realizes, that the quarterback's going to throw that ball over his head. Great job tracking it. Uses his hands to catch it. Has no problem being able to look it in like this and alter his angle. Good balance, good vision, good tracking all in all, and then yards after the catch. But it looks very natural for him to be able to track a ball over his shoulder, over his head like this. In stride. It's going to make him quite a valuable player in the NFL as a player in terms of can run a variety of routes. You've seen him work to the flat on a variety of types of releases. That also tells you that they like what he does as a route runner. Nickel linebackers aren't going to bring Swift down easily. You can watch number 40 here. He gets into position, meets him a yard past the hole. Swift's able to just lean through that contact for the first down. 2nd and 3, hit at the 1 yard mark. First down, just leaning through it. And part of that is his ability to lower his shoulders and that contact balance. He gets hit pretty hard from the side, kind of, just kind of over top of that left shoulder, and then knocked into number 91. And he kind of pinballs off of that and leans through. Not a problem. Now, this is an excellent cut block. You're going to watch him work here late in the play. Get square. Continue to wait for that defender to get through, and then just drop across the legs to the far leg right there. Take out the knee. Body through the other leg, so he makes sure that his body's going across the legs and turns through that, drops the defender who's blitzing up the middle here. Good job getting an extra step of depth as well, and then shooting his shot right through the legs. Let's see if we can get another look at this play. There we go, against 57. Drops down, shoots his shoulder through, It's not unbelievably perfect play. I mean, you'd like to see him have his head up a little bit more, but the way that he works inside out and makes sure that he can get his body through both legs there, well done. Once again, we see Swift on the check down, 3rd and 8. You can see that they run a similar play where they're going to run off the defense. Instead of him working to the outside behind them, he works up the middle and then works to the outside up into the flat right here. But these receivers run off the zone. He turns around. Nice job turning through the catch. See how he turns his body downhill, but still has his upper body square so that he can meet the ball with a good attack of his hands, making a fingertip style catch and turning through that catch downhill. So it's a quick transition. It's a good route. Then you see a little bit of a pony kick there as he gets excited about the idea of hitting number 4 and laying some wood into him. Now, it's not a Josh Jacobs kind of hit that you'd see against the Oklahoma defender, but it's a really nice catch. First down, a little extra. There's another catch on a screen play, and it's a little bit towards his inside hip, so you see him do a nice job of adjusting on this. And again, attacking the ball. You see a lot of receivers who aren't very good at attacking the ball in these odd situations where it's at the back hip. They kind of go underhand, bring the ball into their body, and they trap it to their body, and then they have an awkward time being able to transition upfield because they can't get the ball in a good spot. They have to really protect it at this point, and especially with a guy like 95 bearing down on him. But Swift extends his arms away towards his body, towards the target, makes the active hands catch, and is able to transition fast enough that he can beat 95 and have a teammate from Auburn basically shield 95 away from Swift in the process and then get the corner here. But there's a nice short area burst here to beat 2 defenders and then a third one right here to get positive yards on this little screen. And I love the underrated attack of the ball here because, again, a lot of receivers and running backs won't make that active hands catch, that little adjustment with the wrists that he made with that right arm so that he could make an active hands catch and pull it in transition like that. That's a fine point of the game that you don't always see with young skill players. And he handles what could have been a very awkward target in very graceful fashion. And that extra beat, really, where that he doesn't have to focus on securing the ball, gives him that extra step or two to get this positive yardage. And I'm a fan of the short area burst and to be able to kind of bend runs or turn or cut downhill. You can see the safety overrun the play. He's going to run downhill to kind of cut off this gap and be at the end of the gap, but he overruns it by about a step here. You can see him getting into position. Here's Swift working around and then makes that bend right here. Once he plants that inside foot, you can see here that the safety realizes he's overrun this play. And he can't slow down as fast as Swift can bend this corner. Because watch him bend this short little corner right there and accelerate through it. 20's way out of position at this point. Now, some of that's on 20. Some of that also you got to give credit to Swift being able to just accelerate around a corner like this and take a tight corner, take a tight turn, and be able to, show that burst. Here it is again from the end zone angle. I mean, right here, that little turn. Beautiful stuff. Got it one more time. And see how he's so close to the back legs of his blocker, the receiver here. Gets over that pretty nicely. The defender's anticipating that really against Nada, the tight end or hybrid tight end, you can see here, he's probably thinking he was going to try and go outside, even though if you look at the key here, it's very easy to see that 7 was going to go inside. It's the only way he had to go, but still, that's a tight turn to make, and to do it with the speed that he did and even get an extra step to the inside. It's really nice handling there from the running back. Now, here's a good example of where you get to see the extent of DeAndre Swift's speed. You're going to see him get tackled by number 15, who is near the right hash. He looks like a defensive back, like a nickel back, who's playing up here. And you're going to watch him blitz. He blitzes to this side. And as soon as he sees Swift, he sees right here that Swift is getting the draw play. Takes him about 2 more yards to be able to slow down and make the turn. And they're about even at this point. And then he has to reaccelerate, and Swift has a good 2 to 3 yards before he can start to move in the direction he needs to. But you can see throughout this run that number 15 is maintaining pace as Swift weaves through the defense a little bit. And it's about 25, 30 yards downfield that we see our man get caught. But it's you look at this and you're going to see a run later where Swift pulls away from cornerbacks. But this is a good example of a play where he gets caught from behind. And part of it is that he has to weave through that defense a little bit. And the defender has a clear shot to be able to accelerate. But what you're seeing is he a dominant breakaway threat? Absolutely not. But he's quick enough to earn big plays. And big play runs, again, are, 12-yard gains in the NFL. That's what they qualify as. This is a back who can get you plenty of 12-yard gains in the NFL. I showed this play on Twitter recently and talked about Swift away from the ball. You're going to see him slot left, 4th and 3, 29 seconds left in the half, just up by 3. This is going to be a touchdown, but not to Swift. It's going to be to the other slot receiver running a crossing route here and having lots of room to go. And you see Swift over at the left edge giving a little bit of a block. Well, it's more than a little bit. Give a lot of credit to DeAndre Swift on this play because of his awareness of what he needs to do to open up the middle and left side of the field. He starts inside, but he gets this defender playing off of him to bite to the outside and even trail to the outside as the receiver coming from the right slot making the catch. So he's running off this defender. The defender's head is already trailing Swift, so he's not even looking at where this receiver was, and he was playing off coverage with his back to the end zone facing what was heading and what was going down in front of him. And now he's all the way turned around thanks to a good route by DeAndre Swift. On top of that, Swift then turns back as if maybe he's looking for the ball. Defender's still reading the eyes. And then he gets his hands on the chest and slows down so that he can get square. And look at all that space between the receiver and DeAndre Swift and his man. And you can see Swift doing a nice job getting a little bit of a push, keeping his hands in position, shielding the man off, and that's all he needs to do. He does that for the next 5 yards, and that's all the difference that's needed for number 5 to get into the end zone. So, I'm looking for smart football players. We all want smart football players. This is an example of play intelligence, understanding how your role in the left slot impacts the player in the right inside slot, and how the routes work together. Because if you can get that defender to chase you outside and he can get open in the middle, you've created a ton of space without even getting your hands on the man. And it's another 25-yard gain because of Swift's position on the route, his ability to manipulate the defender on the route, and then follow up with just effort and position. Great job. Just another good example of burst against an athletic SEC team, working to that long corner, beating the linebacker around here enough that he gets about 8 yards on the play. Yeah, he gets run down by the linebacker. Linebacker keeps pace, but not until he's already turned the corner. So when you can turn a corner on a linebacker, and especially a long corner where you both have room to run, you can do that in the SEC, you're a pretty good athlete. You've got NFL caliber athletic ability at the running back position. He may not be a burner, but he is very quick and has good acceleration. He's going to get into that second and third level of a defense consistently if you give him the room. And that includes bounce out opportunities. So he's a dangerous back, even if he's not the fastest back. And the footwork and suddenness in and out of cuts is just one of my favorite parts of his game. We're going to watch it again here. Two nice moves. Nice little move out of the backfield, and then that second move, and then the turn. Man, there's actually three great moves in this play, and they're all very different forms of footwork that are worth paying attention to. First of all, we're going to look at it from the red zone view after this. But this first move, this little cut right there, that plant and cut, and to be able to kind of turn the hips and cut away from that defender last second, great job. Then this little move against number 6. See that jump cut like that, and then be able to turn his torso and get skinny and avoid that defender. And then watch him right here against, I think this is 45. Watch him turn the feet, open the hips right here. That little karaoke step, or a variation of something close to that. It's like a speed turn. Being able to open your hips like that and then outrun 49 to the first down marker after doing what he just did. This is a shifty running back. Boom, boom, whoop, right around the corner there. Let's watch it from the end zone view. My John Madden imitations are poor. I don't make as good sound effects as he does. That's why he made the big bucks. That's why I'm doing this on YouTube. But hey, I'm glad that you enjoy this stuff. I appreciate the feedback I do get, by the way. But watch this. Nice little cut. And this cut's really nice because Arian Foster did this a lot. Watch him hop twice on that right foot. Right here and there. 2 little hops in a row on that right foot. Instead of going right, left, he's able to take 2 steps with his right foot. 1, 2. And that second step saves him space so he doesn't run into the penetrating defender, and it allows him to get oriented downhill with 2 little steps like that. It's a really veteran running back movement pattern for footwork that I've seen Arian Foster do masterfully for the Texans. And you're seeing DeAndre Swift do it here in Athens, Georgia against Auburn. Gets that second cut, much more dramatic cut right here. A little bit of a jump cut, turn his body away, and then that nice bend across the field. Hop, hop, jump cut, bend across the field. All in succession. This is a very nifty running back with power, with a low center of gravity, who will attack you, who can catch the football with the veteran hands of a top receiver. DeAndre Swift has some game. He's not the athlete Todd Gurley or Nick Chubb was. But he is a versatile, tough, well-balanced, well-trained, technically advanced running back. His worst trait, ball security. And he's really got to work on that. I mean, the ball's always loose. His elbow's loose from his frame. Swings the ball a good bit. And he does have, I would say, a below average fumble rate for what you would want from a starter at this stage of his game. But this guy, there's a lot of refinement to what he does when it comes to carrying the ball and catching the ball. And there's the footwork just to get through tight creases. Watch him on this trap-like block, this gap block over here. Watch him vary his footwork there. 2 little short steps, kind of a little duck walk there to slide through. So it looks kind of more like almost like a wham block here. But see those 2 little steps? Squeezes through that inside. Gets up the middle with it. And then he'll deliver the goods at the end here against the safety. That's what I like about him too. He does not mind delivering punishment to a safety when he's one-on-one. He'll just get straight downhill and say, I'm just going to run over you. I'll get more yards that way. But if you're not careful and you get too geared up to try and stop him that way, he has the movement, as we've seen, to make you flat out miss and look foolish. So he's got the hammer, and then he has the changeup. See that changeup? Was it number 9 that he ran over? Yes, watch this. I think that's number 9 right here. Yep, number 9. He runs over number 9 on this play. So the next play, watch him handle number 9 with the changeup. Bounces outside. Nice little couple step move with the shoulder dip, head dip, back inside, makes 9 miss completely. Little okey doke right there. Now, I'm not running you over. You're prepared for me to run you over this time. Going to give you a little change up and make you miss and get another 10 to 12 yards out of the deal. Actually, 5, 10, 15, 16 yards out of the deal. So like I said, versatile. He'll run you over in the secondary one play. He'll make you miss in the next. And let's look at the beginning of this play where he makes that safety miss. Because watch the turn outside. See how he doesn't jump into this so much? He just pivots his feet, points his toe, and turns. A lot of backs. Kenyon Drake was a great example. David Montgomery is a good example of a guy who would tend to see this blitzer, 57, coming into the crease and try and jump, stop, and turn. Not much of a jump stop. Both feet are off the ground, but he's opening his hips very quickly. He's not leaping into it. He just got his feet set off the ground so that he could kind of open his hips and then just accelerate past. And that's really nice acceleration. And then the okey doke move on number 9. Nice little head fake there. Sweet play. And here's an example of speed, but we're going to talk about speed in context again because we saw him get run down by number 15 on a blitz where 15 blitzed to the right side, realized what was happening, had to turn back around and caught him 20 yards later. Now here's a play where we're going to see, a 77-yard touchdown on this particular play. And he has a secondary defender chasing him, number 6. And he beats them all downfield. Now, is that a secondary defender or an outside linebacker? No, it's a secondary defender. He's over here. And he even pulls through a reach to his upper body early in the play and still outruns number 6 down the field. So he has enough speed to make big plays. At the same time, is he really pulling away from people? There's a man on a block right there, man on a block right there. Good angle on the safety, beats that man. Here's another man that's about to get blocked, and this defender is facing downhill. The only man he's outrunning is really maintaining his distance on number 6, who's pursuing here. The rest are just kind of in bad angles. These guys may be here, but again, he's got good angles on him. You can see from the 40 on, the defender doesn't make up any ground. So I'd say this. I'd be willing to bet that he has really good long speed past 40 yards, that he has stamina to his speed. So he's a guy that he's going to maintain the top rate that he's at for a long distance. Marshawn Lynch was really good at that. He didn't have great long speed, but he was a guy that could weave around the field, make people miss, and maintain the rate of speed that he had even after contact, even after changing direction, even after 40 yards, at 50, 60, 70 yards. And that's a valuable trait to have, too, that we don't measure very often at the combine. You don't see that kind of measurement at the combine. But this is nice stuff right there out of DeAndre Swift. So there you have it, folks. DeAndre Swift, versatile back out of the University of Georgia, someone that I think is going to have a nice career in the NFL, probably as a lead back. I think he has that kind of skill set. He's going to have to develop his blocking. You're going to have to see this year him get better at delivering punches, staying square, diagnosing different types of blitzes. You're also going to have to see him improve with his ball security. That ball carriage is a problem. You can see, in terms of him running the ball that, the ball's well away from his frame. Even when he switches the ball, that's nice, but you can just see that the ball's low and loose. So he's going to have to get better at that. And he does give up some fumbles on plays. But he can catch, he can cut block, he can run for power, he's got contact balance against first and second level defenders. He can make you miss. He knows when to deliver the change up with the move and when to just run you over. This is a very accomplished running back at what is arguably been running back you for the past 5 to 7 years. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Film Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, the RSP Film Room, and my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.